So today MUIH has about 1,300 students. They're all graduate students. We offer master's and doctoral degrees as well as some certificates. Our long-standing program is acupuncture and oriental medicine, which has the deepest roots and is really, in some ways, the heartbeat of the institution. Our largest program right now is nutrition, and that's done primarily online. And our students and faculty are looking at the relationship between food and illness. Just to give you a quick example of some of the work that they do, I had a graduate student. We were just chatting about things and I asked about her work. Her son was diagnosed with autism and Crohn's disease. And she started pouring herself into the research to try to figure out what could be done. And she found some interesting information about diet. She came here, she did some research. Since she was homeschooling her son, she was able to have a controlled environment so she could control what food was happening, and she was logging it and monitoring it very scientifically. That child is now off the autism spectrum. That child's Crohn's disease is gone. And so you hear stories like that and you realize the incredible work that's being done. This is what we need. This is what our nation needs, our communities, this is where we need to go. And I see this as kind of a way through the challenges we're having in Washington over healthcare, where we don't want to pay for healthcare and we're not sure that it works. To give you an example, traditional medicine is very focused on looking at symptoms and discovering what those symptoms are and then finding interventions that deal with that. And so, you know, you've got this disease or malady, and so here's the course treatment, boom, boom, boom. In alternative medicines or complementary medicines, we're much more interested, first of all, in preventing illnesses and unwellness. And so that's why you see emphases on movement and nutrition and keeping the body in alignment and balance through acupuncture and some of the other art forms. So making sure that you don't get sick in the first place, or that if you do, you can recover quickly. Secondly, there's an emphasis on natural remedies. So all the pharmaceuticals that you're taking that have tremendous side effects, a good example is opioids, which are great at minimizing pain, but we know that we have a tremendous crisis now in this country because of the opioid addiction. Well, the American Physicians Council recently came out with a report that said that traditional medical interventions don't help. They don't cure the problem, and they certainly don't manage pain, except if you give people drugs, which leads to opioid addictions. The American Physicians Council said the three modalities that are most effective in treating lower back pain are acupuncture, yoga, and massage. So if we can avoid a surgery or multiple doctor visits and instead see an acupuncturist or a yoga therapist, we're going to save tons of money, both as individuals and as a nation, and we'll have more profound care, and we'll avoid the side effects of those medications as well as the tertiary effects of opioid addiction and some of those other things. I think the other thing that's different between that sort of distinguishes natural approaches is the idea that it's patient-centered. It's really about helping the patient achieve balance and harmony and wellness. And so it's helping individuals maintain their homeostasis, the ability of their body to regenerate and heal itself. And so when we think about medical care as that, rather than cutting things, I think it sort of changes the dynamic. Well, the good news is, I think from a business standpoint, is that we were first to market. So we have a little bit of an advantage on that. We were the first acupuncture school in the country. Many of our programs are still unique and aren't offered anywhere. And then in terms of the sort of the array of courses and the array of programs that we have, we still have an edge over others that are around us. But it's fair to say that we can't sit on our hands. It is and will be an increasingly competitive marketplace. And so the way we have to respond to that is continue to develop new programs and continue to figure out what our identity is and what is the differentiation in our brand and in the way we operate. Education is kind of like the automobile industry. It's a copycat industry. When you see somebody come up with, self-parking automobiles, you can bet that it might have started on a Lexus, but 5 years from now you'll see it in a Ford. It's just the way of the world. And so we look at other people's successes and their best practices, and we're going to copy that. Now, but what's different about us, I think, is that it comes from years, decades of an ethos where that it's genuine. We're not just putting something in place because it makes money. In fact, our faculty constantly resist that. We put things in place because they fit our mission, they fit our ethos, they fit who we are. I think we have to go beyond that though, and another virtue that we have here is we have an operating clinic, and we're going to be expanding our outreach to the community, particularly in Howard County. And so when our students have the opportunity to teach at a clinic that's seeing patients, and when we have the opportunity to serve our community by providing low-cost, high-quality care, I think that sets us apart from some others as well. So having that piece, I think, is important.